Have you ever thought about what happens when you get a really deep cut? Well, today we're diving into one of the most incredible comeback stories that happens right inside our own bodies. How a nerve can actually heal itself after being completely severed. It is a microscopic drama of survival, of rebuilding, and it is absolutely fascinating.
So let's start with that big question. A nerve is cut. Now what? It's not just a simple case of stitching things back together. Oh no, your body kicks off this unbelievably complex and coordinated rescue mission. So where does it even begin? What's step one in this whole process?
All right, our story starts right at the moment of injury. This first part is all about the immediate chaos and the body's emergency response at the cellular level.
Okay, so the very first thing that happens is, well, it's pretty amazing. From the end of the nerve that's still connected to your brain, we call that the proximal end, these tiny, almost tentacle-like things start to grow out. They're called fibrils. Think of them as the first responders on the scene, little explorers sent out into the total unknown. And get this is not some small, half-hearted attempt. The body goes all in. We're talking up to 100 of these fibrils sprouting out. It's a massive, all-out search party, which just shows you how determined your body is to fix this and bridge that gap. So now you've got this little army of 100 fibrils pushing out into the wound. What's their mission? Simple. Find the other half of the nerve. This is the search for connection. And it's a dangerous journey across a microscopic canyon. The whole thing plays out like a perfectly choreographed dance. So, step one, like we said, up to 100 sprouts pop out. Step two, these fibrils start their search, feeling their way through the gap. But here's the cool part. They're not alone. A guide shows up. And finally, if everything goes right, some of those fibrils find their target, they enter the tube of the other nerve end, and bam, a new connection is formed. It's this guided mission that makes the whole thing possible.
But those little fibrils couldn't do this job all on their own. They have an absolutely essential support crew working behind the scenes. So let's talk about the real unsung heroes of this story, the Schwann cells. These Schwann cells are the ultimate multitaskers. They have two jobs, and both are critical. First, they actually line up to create a physical path. They're literally building a road for the fibrils to follow. And second, at the same time, they're producing these special chemicals called nerve growth factors. So not only do they build the road, they put up the road signs too. And you can think of these chemical signals just like a trail of breadcrumbs. The Schwann cells release them, and the searching fibrils can kind of smell their way along the path, following the trail right to their target. It's basically a brilliant, built-in biological GPS system. Okay, so the connection's been made. Whew, job's done, right? Not even close. This next phase isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. We are talking about a year-long process of careful, meticulous rebuilding. This is where the long journey to actual functional recovery really begins.
This timeline really puts things into perspective, doesn't it? So day 0 is the injury. It takes about 3 whole months just for that initial physical wire to be fully reconnected. Then, those Schwann cells spend up to a full year rebuilding the protective insulation around that nerve. And that's such an important point. Getting reconnected is just the very beginning of the journey. And while all this high-stakes drama is going down at the injury site, the entire system is kind of rebooting itself. So back at headquarters, the main nerve cell body, there's a whole other healing process going on. The cell's internal machinery for making proteins starts to reappear, and the nucleus, which might have been shoved to the side from the trauma, moves right back to the center where it belongs.
So after a year, maybe more, the nerve is physically rebuilt. It's whole again. But what does this new normal actually look like? Is it a perfect factory-fresh copy of its old self? Well, not exactly. So the repaired nerve, while it works, only gets back to about 80% of its original thickness. And the new segments of its protective coating, they're shorter than the original ones were. It's an incredible repair job, for sure, but it's more like a really, really good patch than a perfect restoration. And this, right here, is probably the most important takeaway from this whole thing. Just because the nerve is physically connected again, anatomically regenerated, that doesn't mean it works perfectly right away. Functional recovery, actually being able to use that nerve to feel or move like you did before, that's a much, much longer journey that only really starts after the physical repair is done. Which really just leaves us with this one last incredible thought. This whole process, the searching fibrils, the guiding cells, the year-long rebuild, This all happens inside us, naturally. So if our bodies already have this amazing blueprint for self-repair, what does that mean for the future of medicine? What could we achieve if we really learned how to tap into and maybe even boost this amazing biological power? It's pretty incredible to think about.